Hey guys, it's Clover. E3 is here and everyone is thinking about what Nintendo is announcing tomorrow. Something they could announce is another Fire Emblem remake, in the same vein as Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. Now, why do I think there's going to be another Echoes title? Well, Sark has discussed this topic of multiple remakes in another video. The link is in the description box. He makes a comparison between Fates in the title structure to Echoes, Fates already having 3 games tied to it. He also points out that fans of Fire Emblem Gaiden can tell you the subtitle Echoes has no connection with the game or its story. The title rather refers to it being an echo of the past, and its second subtitle, Shadows of Valentia, pinpoints where in Fire Emblem history this story takes place. In another video, Sark's theory is backed up, though as an afterthought, by an interview that is held by Dengeki Nintendo with the developer team behind Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which was translated by Serene's Forest user Kirokan. In the interview, the game's director, Kenta Nakanishi, says they didn't want to confuse people by naming it Gaiden, which in Japanese just means side story. And series producer Hitoshi Yamagami says, if there were to be more remakes in the future, we figured we could use Echoes again. So, if there's a possible remake in the future of Fire Emblem, what could it be? Well, Fire Emblem games that haven't had a worldwide release seem more likely, especially with the growing popularity of Fire Emblem in the West. Now, we've already seen remakes of the first 2 games, one being Shadow Dragon for the DS, and now the other being Echoes Shadows of Valentia. The other games needing Western releases include Genealogy of the Holy War, Thracia 776, and Binding Blade. So, out of these 3 then, which is more likely? Well, Thracia 776 takes place during the events in Genealogy, so Genealogy's remake would need to come first. So let's look at some factors that might play into why the developers would pick one of the other 2. Firstly, what sold well? Genealogy of the Holy War, according to an official US English website for Fire Emblem, was the most successful Fire Emblem game in Japan, selling an estimated 498,216 units as of 2002. Though some claim that Mystery of the Emblem actually was more successful. And Binding Blade sold over 345,000 by the end of the same year. Alright, Genealogy's looking good. Second, let's look at features implemented. Many of the common features we see in later Fire Emblem titles were first introduced in Genealogy. Things like skills and marriage between units, along with children units and inherited skills. Binding Blade was the first to introduce support conversations on the battlefield, and also bookmarking became a thing, which made sense because it was the first portable Fire Emblem title. What developers might also look at is fan feedback. A major complaint of Shadows of Valentia was that the maps were plain and boring, usually only having a few patches of trees or swamps of poisonous liquid. They also usually had one objective, rout the enemy, and that was it. So Genealogy seems like the perfect candidate to remedy that complaint. The maps were huge, and each had multiple objectives. Large maps means many units and not leaving any behind, which I never liked in the Fire Emblem games. But we can't dismiss something glaringly obvious. That's right, our boy Roy. He's been in Smash for years, even before his own game released in Japan in 2002, just like Corrin from Fates. Though I think it's really the only thing going for it. Not that I don't want a Binding Blade remake, I just think the next one will be something else. And based on the points I've provided, Genealogy of the Holy War seems most likely. We may see evidence to this by the recent events in the mobile Fire Emblem Heroes game, as Genealogy has received some recognition by adding new heroes to collect, making 14 total from Genealogy, which ties it with Binding Blade, if you don't count the duplicates. These all have new art and voice acting. They might be preparing for a remake already. On top of everything, the developers might want to continue chronologically. Fire Emblem 1 and 2 now both have remakes, and if we skip over Mystery of the Emblem because it's the first game remade with a little extra, Genealogy is next. If this is the case, I have a few predictions for the remake. Now, I've never played Genealogy of the Holy War, but I hope they do stay true to the original for character, story, and the scale of the game. I think the 3DS is powerful enough to make wonderfully large maps with long story chapters and objectives to complete. If they follow their own Echoes format, we'll get some new features, and light balancing, and an emphasis on the main gimmick of the original. So I think we'll have a Millis Turnwheel-esque mechanic, along with casual mode and various difficulties. Thracia 776 implemented fatigue, so I think that is highly likely to return. We have it in Echoes already. I'm sure they'll add new units just like they did Faye in Echoes, along with Berkut, one of my favorite characters in that game, and a few others. I just hope they aren't flat one-trick ponies like Faye. She has a super cute design, but the only two support conversations she has are mostly obsessing over Ulm. I think forging weapons will stay, durability might stay unlimited, but I think we'll see weapons that weren't in the original. I hope they bring back voice acting, because they did a terrific job in Echoes. The voice acting just immersed me completely in the story. So, those are a couple predictions and hopes I have for this potential remake. So, thanks for watching. What do you guys think? Let me know what Fire Emblem remake you think is actually up, or let me know if you agree, and tell me what features you'd like to see. Again, I've been Clover. Thanks for watching. See you next time.